I'm Father Joseph Fessio, S.J. of the Society of Jesus. I am the founder and editor of Ignatius Press. I'm also the theologian in residence at Ave Maria University, now in its own town of Ave Maria, Florida. I've been asked to say a few words about two recent documents of the Holy See, and so we thought we'd propose for you a little mini-series here. We know that on YouTube and other types of internet streaming video, attention spans are short, so we'll try and break this up into some smaller parts. The two documents I'm referring to are the apostolic letter Motu Proprio, which means by his own initiative, Benedict XVI, called Summorum Pontificum, which was a set of decrees making it easier for priests to celebrate the Mass of the preconciliar form and for the laity who wished to participate in those Masses. And that was issued on July 7th, 2007, which was a Saturday. And 2 days later, on Monday, July 9th, the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith issued responses to some questions regarding certain aspects of the doctrine of the Church, essentially relating with ecumenism. Both documents were greeted with both joy on the one hand and sorrow on the other, with glad acceptance and rather harsh criticism. So, I would like to summarize what the documents actually said. That's part one. Then I'd like to give some of the reasons why those documents were issued. That's part two. And then thirdly, with respect to the sacred liturgy, which the Motu Proprio addressed, give some background on Pope Benedict's views of the liturgy and why he wrote this and where it fits into the vision he has for the renewal of the liturgy. And then, if there's time and if my cameraman has patience, I'll respond to some of the specific criticisms, and a central one is that these documents are a disparagement of and in contradiction to the teachings of the Second Vatican Council. As a matter of fact, they are no such thing, but I think I can prove that by reading passages from some of the pertinent council documents. So let's take a look first at what actually was said. The Motu Proprio is only 4 pages long and is preceded by a covering letter, but it has 12 articles in it. And the first article simply says that there's been concern about the way Mass has been celebrated in many parts of the world after the Council, and there have been various pieces of legislation on this, and this new document will replace and substitute for any previous legislation. In Article 2, Pope Benedict says that any Catholic priest at any time can celebrate a Mass according to the usage or form of the Missal of 1962, also referred to as the Missal of Blessed John the 23rd, and may do so in a Mass that's not a regularly scheduled Mass, the so-called Mass sine popolo, without the people. But in Article 4, we're told that anyone who wants to assist at that Mass may freely do so. I should emphasize that in Article 1, the Pope makes it very clear there's not going to be two rites in the Catholic Church, but one rite, the Roman rite, with two usages or two forms. One, the ordinary form, which is the Novus Ordo, the New Order of Mass, which was promulgated by Paul VI in 1970. The other will be the extraordinary form, the Missal of 1962. In Article 3, the Motu Proprio says that when there's a stable group of the faithful in a parish who wishes to have the Mass celebrated according to the old usage, the extraordinary usage, that they may ask their pastor to do that for them, and the pastor should willingly and freely accept that request and comply with it. If there's a difficulty and they can't get what they're seeking, they may go to the bishop. And if the bishop is not cooperative, they then can go to the commission in Rome, which is tasked with implementing this document, called the Ecclesia Dei Commission. Ecclesia Dei meaning Church of God. Then in Article 6, we're told that the missal of the 1962 missal can be used with the vernacular readings. And that's a change because that missal has the readings in Latin. So the Pope was already adapting somewhat the missal of 1962. I skipped Article 3, which has to do with religious communities. If their superiors so desire and so legislate, then communities can have the Mass under the old form either regularly or occasionally or always if they so choose. Article 8 refers to a bishop who is, for whatever reason, having difficulty responding to the request of the faithful. He can appeal to the Ecclesia Dei Commission, and they will help him achieve what he is trying to do. Article 9 says that not only the Mass, but also baptism, confession, anointing of the sick, and marriage can be celebrated according to the old form, and even confirmation if the bishop so desires. Article 10 states that a bishop may establish a personal parish, that is, a parish which is set aside specifically for the celebration of Mass in the extraordinary form. Articles 11 and 12, which is the last two, are very interesting because Article 11 says this commission, Ecclesia Dei, which has been in existence since 1984, is to continue its present task of helping those who wish to have Mass in the extraordinary form. But Article 12 says, in addition to that, it will now have the authority to speak in the name of the Holy See. So the Holy Father is given very high authority, plenary authority, to this commission to act in his name. So that's the document. And basically what it does is it makes it easier for the faithful who so wish to participate in, and for priests who so wish to celebrate, Mass according to the Missal 1962.